Oh, and hold on, before we go, we're going to talk about the National Shabbat. I'm going to get the article up, but before I get the article up, who is Danesh for people joining us for the first time? Who is he? Why is he covering him? Why are you covering him? Why is it an important story?
I'll give you my view, and then you could tell the straight story. Danesh Nishirvan is an Iranian anchor baby, and I believe he's a digital terrorist, and he is here to subvert the American culture and destroy, Republican white traditional people because he hates people. And so what Dinesh does is he has content on TikTok, and he targets those groups of people that he hates: Trump supporters, Republicans, white people, traditional people, Christians. And he goes after them, and he tries to get them fired. He tries to harass them digitally. He sends speech and non-speech actions against them. So he says very, very bad things that are false. He knows them to be false. They're maliciously said. But he also deploys AI, and he deploys sock puppets, and he deploys this army of crazies that he has that do whatever he said, because he has almost like a cult-like following with the mentally ill. And they go and they attack, and then they put Yelp on there and social media. They tag you on your websites. They destroy your business. They get you fired. And it's done both by people
in one case, a teacher and coach.
In one case, football coach Aaron Delator in Texas, Denton, Texas, killed himself because of the abuse.
Right.
So and the police cleared him, and Danesh even said, "Oh, that was kind of wasn't true." He didn't do a full apology, and he went to Dr. Phil. And Dr. Phil asked him, if somebody were to die because of what you do, would you feel responsible? And Danesh came out and said, no, I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for any of this. Well, he's engaged in what's called a campaign. And campaign comes from the word campagna, it's in Latin. And we saw this in the medieval times, in the Middle Ages. And we saw this in the Crusades, in the siege of Jerusalem. It wasn't the people with the scimitars, the Muslim jihadists that were yelling the bad words. They were yelling bad words, but they were also doing catapults and hot oil and flaming arrows and beheading people. This man is a digital terrorist, both from speech and from non-speech. And I am suing him because he's called me a pedophile. Okay, he's called me a child stalker, a child, predator, and he's also come after me, and he's come after me with the modern day equivalent of catapults and flaming arrows and hot oil in my life digitally.
In July, you had a status conference, and I surmised that the reason that Mr. Noshirvan skipped the status conference because it was so boring, he couldn't bring himself to show up. But you found out something different. Where was he while this status conference was ongoing?
He was on the Super Mario Brothers Bowser ride at Universal in California. At the time he was out there.
For those who have not been in court, court is not like school. If you ditch school, you could get into a little trouble, but it's probably not that big a deal. If you miss court, it's really not a good idea. Don't miss court. If you have a court date, you need to show up. If not, you need to let them know that you can't show up, and it better be can't, not won't. And you need to let them know well in advance, and you need to try to figure out a way to do it virtually or any other way. Do not miss court. He missed court.
He did a phone call. He didn't send a phone call. He sent an email. He didn't send the carrier pigeon. He didn't send the stagecoach. Not to me. Richard Wilson is some schmuck. Tell Judge Mizell. He's a federal magistrate judge. Tell the judge, respect the judge's time, you piece of crap. You are just a terrible person.
Right. Now, he claimed that he did get the notice, but then he forgot to put it in his calendar. How is that as an excuse? Do judges like those excuses?
Come on, he's a federal judge, okay? Right. He's a federal judge. You're going to waste this guy's time? I sat there, and the guy was as nice as can be. He was a great guy. He knew the case. He read all the papers. He prepared himself for the case. We sat there for over an hour talking about the case and legal issues involved in the case to try to get this case resolved. I made an offer to resolve the case. I made him an offer to resolve the case. He doesn't want to resolve. He doesn't want to resolve.
I understand. You were there. What's the big deal? Why do we need to have any more? You were there. There was a status conference. No harm, no foul. What's wrong with that?
Because you're thumbing your nose at the authority of the federal court at that point. So people can court orders are optional. Okay, so the Supreme Court says in Brown v. Board, that separate but equal is unconstitutional. Okay, I'll take that under advisement. No, No, court orders aren't optional. Come on.
Right.
Come
Court orders, they are not court requests. They are not court suggestions. They are court orders, period. And so he wasn't there. And last week we debated just how badly he would be sanctioned. I said $1,500. I think the judge is looking at something more significant. Danesh came back with his, I called it dog ate my homework excuse. It definitely was. I said $1,500. He said, defendant Danesh Noshirvan failed to appear for an in-person Rule 16 conference scheduled on July 17th, yet he never requested a continuance, nor did he contact the court. In addition, Noshirvan failed to engage in a planning conference and file a case management report in violation of our local rules. The civil action order also directs the party to meet and confer about selecting a mediator when filing a CMR, but Noshirvan ignored that directive as well. As such, by August 1, he must show cause. Now, after Noshirvan filed his response, here's the key order. Notice RE hearing response to order to show cause 46, order to show cause. Evidentiary hearing set for August 27, 2025 at 1:30 in the Fort Myers courtroom. This guy wants Noshirvan to show up to present evidence for why he missed the scheduling conference. I don't think this is $1,500. It's going to be more. This guy is not happy.
I think he's perjured himself already. And I think that, he's got two choices. One, he can double down on his perjury, or two, he can come and say mea culpa, and then the judge can smack him. The judge is going to smack him one way or another. He's going to smack him, lightly, or he's going to smack him hard. And I think he's got to do a mea culpa, but he's not. The judge told me, like, Mr. Luther, what's going on with this case? I said, look, like I want an apology from this guy, how it started, but I have some severe traumatic brain injury now because of this, and the fact is that I'm not able to heal my brain. This is true. The Amen Clinic, I have brain scans that show this all, and I'll show it to you. I have brain injury, and most people who know me say that guy's probably brain damaged. So it's not something that is like coming out of the blue. So the fact of the matter is, the next needs to understand that the longer this goes, the worse that my brain injury gets. So if he were to apologize to me, and if he would apologize on every platform and all the world to see and screaming from the mountaintops that Richard Luthman is not a pedophile, Richard Luthman is not a child stalker, I was mistaken. He's just going to say, I was negligent or I rushed to judgment. That's all he's got to say. He won't do that. And, so then it gets to be a monetary issue. I'm going to be hiring specialty attorneys soon to take this case because of the traumatic brain injuries that I have. This is a severe personal injury case now. So if he wants a severe personal injury case, then he has one on his hands. So that he can deal with that. I want an apology. Apologize to that.
He's not going to get one. He and Jeremy Hales are built the same way. They're always right. I don't know what he's going to do, but this guy Mizell is very unhappy. A lot more unhappy than I was in the hypothetical judge role. This is going to get really serious. Also, he reached out to you to say, let's try to settle, but you have to give me a legitimate settlement. And the settlement you provided, in his mind, was illegitimate.
I'll tell you what, I put a number in, right? So he's claiming that my damages don't exceed the $75,000 federal court threshold.
No. Being falsely accused of being a pedophile, that is defamation per se. Look, defamation per se, getting back to the Idaho thing, is when what you said is so bad, the accusation that the damages are implied, that you don't have to show damages, that you can presume that there are significant damages. And being called a pedophile, which is punishable by death in the state of Florida, that reaches it. Reckless driving doesn't reach it, which is the only thing that I can think of that Heidi said that was like criminal in nature.
I think reckless driving is a felony anyway. I think it's a misdemeanor at the end of the day, right?
Right. Yeah. And she never said reckless driving. She said he would try to get into accidents, which I guess you could presume.
But pedophilia is the death penalty. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So look, he has a big problem on his hands. Him and Hales are cut from the same cloth. They push the envelope. That's how they get viewers. But they never face any trouble. They probably both have faced trouble, but they act like they are untouchable. Well, you know what? Jack Doherty felt like he was untouchable. The Liver King felt like he was untouchable. I'm sure Haley Welch felt like she was untouchable. And you are touchable. You're about to face a lot of consequences. In the short term, this guy, this magistrate Mizell, he's going to ream him a new one. I might have to fly. You know what I mean? I won't be there. I think I have another thing in California on the following day, so I won't be able to be there. I would love to fly in just to watch Danesh.
I heard that Trump might fly down.
Yeah, there you go.
Go back to
He
my,
might
go
do a
back to my
little
article.
court watching.
Go back to
All
my
right.
article. Back to my article. You can see Trump. Anybody take a look. Trump made a statement. I think it's about Danesh. I really.
All right. All right. That is it for this week. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. We're always on Wednesdays, and we will be back next week.